Welcome to part 3 of Lightbulb Spanish, all about gender. The notion of gender is very important in Spanish, but it's something that hardly exists in English. In this video we're going to talk about the genders of nouns in Spanish, what it means, and how we can spot them. In Spanish, all nouns belong to one of two groups. One group is called masculine, the other is called feminine. We know that the word masculine has something to do with being male, with being a boy or a man, and that feminine has something to do with being female, being a girl, or being a woman. In English, masculine and feminine only exist for people, animals, think of lion and lioness for example, and sometimes transport. When the Queen launches a new ship, she says, "God bless her and all who sail in her." Let's use these people nouns to help us to discover what masculine and feminine is all about in Spanish, and we're going to use English to help us. So let's categorize these nouns. Are they masculine or feminine? How about mi padre? It's masculine. The next one, mi hermana. It's feminine. Then mi tío. That's masculine. And mi prima. That's feminine as well. The next one is mi abuela. That's feminine. What about mi amigo? That's masculine. And mi sobrino? That's masculine. And the last one is mi madre. That one too is feminine. So let's have a look at the four nouns that we have marked as masculine. So that's mi padre, mi tío, mi amigo, and mi sobrino. Have you noticed something that nearly all of them have in common? They end in the letter O. Similarly, let's have a look at all of the nouns that we've marked as feminine. So mi hermana, mi prima, mi abuela, and mi madre. Can you spot something that most of them have in common? They end in a. So it looks like in Spanish, masculine nouns end in o and feminine nouns end in a. Let's test out that theory with some more Spanish nouns. Here are 8 random Spanish nouns. Let's test out our theory. First of all, una abeja. Is that masculine or feminine? It's feminine. And un esqueleto. Is that masculine or feminine? It's masculine. What about un castillo? That's masculine too. The next one is una camiseta. Is that masculine or feminine? It's feminine. And una manzana? Is that masculine or feminine? It's feminine. What about una trompeta? Is that masculine or feminine? It's feminine. The next one is un globo. Is that masculine or feminine? It's masculine. And the last one is un escudo. Is that masculine or feminine? It's masculine. Now, have you noticed anything else that helps us to spot the difference between these masculine and feminine nouns. The masculine nouns have un in front of them, and the feminine nouns have una in front of them. Un and una both mean a or an in English, and they are examples of the indefinite article in Spanish. They are another clue that shows us if a noun is masculine or feminine. We can see from this group of words that all nouns in Spanish are either masculine or feminine, and not just people and animals like in English. We aren't saying that the castle is physically male or that a trumpet is actually female. We're saying that the word castillo belongs to a group of nouns that is called masculine, and that these nouns all behave in a certain way. Similarly, trompeta belongs to a group of nouns that is called feminine, and they behave in a different way. The groups are called masculine and feminine because they contain the male people and female people, but they could just as easily be called green and yellow nouns, or A and B nouns, or even tree and flower nouns. Masculine and feminine are just labels. So we've found out that nouns ending in o are masculine and nouns ending in a are feminine. We've also learned that masculine nouns will often have un in front of them, and feminine nouns will often have una in front of them. The un and una are very useful when it comes to deciding about words that don't end in o or a, or words that don't follow the ending in o, ending in a rule. For example, mapa ends in a, but it is a masculine word, while mano ends in o, but it's feminine. These words are unusual. As well as o and a, there are other noun endings that are definitely masculine or definitely feminine, and here are some of them. There are, though, some nouns that we just can't tell about either way, and so we have to check those ones in our bilingual dictionary. Bear in mind, also, that the definite articles, which mean the, can also be used to tell whether a word is masculine or feminine. El and la both mean the. El is masculine and la is feminine. So, why does Spanish have masculine and feminine words? Well, Spanish is essentially a modern form of Latin, as Spain was part of the Roman Empire for about 700 years. The language also has a significant Arabic influence following the Moorish invasion, which lasted from 711 until 1492. Arabic influenced the vocabulary, but not the grammar, which remains Latin in form. Latin had 3 genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. Masculine nouns most commonly ended in us, and feminine nouns in a. This is most clearly illustrated by Latin first names. Spanish and English girls' names often end in a, like Amelia, Olivia, Anna, and Georgia, and this helps us to remember that a on the end of a noun makes it feminine. Many Spanish boys' names end in o, like Pedro and Marco. So, let's recap what we've learned about the gender of nouns in Spanish. In Spanish, there are 2 groups of nouns called masculine and feminine. In English, gender only exists for people nouns, animal nouns, and some transport nouns, but all Spanish nouns are either masculine or feminine. Masculine nouns often end in o, feminine nouns often end in a. Masculine nouns will have the indefinite article un, which means a or an, and the definite article el, which means the. Feminine nouns will have the indefinite article una, which means a or an, and the definite article la, which means the. Sometimes we don't have any of these clues, and we have to check the gender in a bilingual dictionary. It's important for us to know the genders of the nouns that we use, as it will affect the adjectives that we use to describe them and any determiners that we choose. There are plenty of resources on Lightbulb Languages to help you to practice Spanish gender.